Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're navigating a fascinating duality in health. It's about the systems built to ensure you get quality care and then, well, the personal journey of recovery you take within those systems.
It really is like two sides of the same coin, isn't it? You've got these big organizations, global, national, working on the how of delivering great healthcare, setting standards, frameworks.
Right.
And then there's you, the patient, facing this really personal, sometimes tough how of just getting better.
Exactly. And our sources today cover that whole range. We're looking at materials from giants like Joint Commission International, JCI, and national groups like NABH here in India, plus consultancies like Supremedic who actually help hospitals meet these pretty high bars.
And surprisingly, we're also seeing how things like, patience, your own patience is vital for recovery. And often that's discussed in resources from similar kinds of organizations.
So, our mission for this deep dive, we want to pull out the essential insights from all this. Understand the big picture, the system driving quality care, but also what you need personally to heal effectively.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with that foundation, the standards. Joint Commission International, JCI, seems like a really big player globally.
Oh, absolutely. And what's really insightful is their mission statement. It's to enable and affirm the highest standards of healthcare quality and patient safety for all. Just think about the scope of that.
For all. That's ambitious.
It is. They've been at it over 20 years, working in, 70-plus countries?
Yeah, the sources mention that. And over 1,000 accredited programs, hundreds of experts. It's a massive effort.
It really makes you appreciate the coordination needed just to define quality care across so many different places.
So what do they actually do? It's not just writing standards, right?
Now, they run accreditation, certification programs.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, they're getting specific now. Clinical care programs, healthcare sustainability, even JCI telehealth certification.
Telehealth, right. That's become so important.
And a key thing the sources highlight are the International Patient Safety Goals, the IPSGs.
Okay.
Instead of just vague ideas, these really target specific problem areas. Things like, making sure surgical sites are correct or cutting down on infections people might get in the hospital. Real concrete goals.
And for the hospitals that go through this, it must be intense. What are the payoffs? The sources had quotes from leaders, didn't they?
They did, and it's fascinating. One president called JCI accreditation one of the best team-building exercises they'd ever done.
Team building from an accreditation process.
Yeah, because it forces everyone to collaborate, apparently. Others mentioned, sure, a competitive advantage, but also how it strengthens community confidence.
That makes sense. Knowing a hospital meets global standards.
Exactly. And it improves risk management, helps organize and strengthen patient safety efforts. It really fosters a culture of patient safety. It's not just about passing a test.
It sounds like it embeds it deeper.
Right. And they're not sitting still either. They've got new things like patient safety pathways, JCI continuous, sounds like maybe a rolling accreditation.
Interesting.
Healthcare sustainability certification, and they just updated their big hospital standards manual, the 8th edition.
Okay. And then closer to home, here in India.
We have the National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers, NABH, part of the Quality Council of India.
So, similar role, setting benchmarks, running accreditation, but focused nationally.
Precisely. And the sources note its functional autonomy, which suggests it operates independently in setting those standards.
Okay, so you have these bodies setting the bar high. But hospitals are complex places. How do they actually implement all this stuff day to day? That's where consultancies come in.
Exactly. That's the crucial support layer. Our sources introduce Supremedic Consultancy as one example. They partner with hospital owners, and the key phrase was from planning to accreditation.
From planning to accreditation. That tells you a lot about the journey.
It really does. It's not just about checking boxes later on. It's about building quality in from the very beginning.
So what kind of things do they help with? What did the sources mention?
It's quite a range. Everything from the initial hospital design and planning, even recruitment, finding the right doctors and nurses.
Critical first steps.
Then the core quality systems, NABH implementation support, and also NABL.
NABL? What's that?
That's the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. So, ensuring quality within the hospital's labs, another vital piece.
Ah, got it. Labs are crucial. So Supremedic acts like a guide, helping turn those NABH standards into actual practice.
Exactly. They handle operational stuff too.
Yeah.
Like medical equipment calibration, making sure machines are accurate. Hospital operation management,
Which includes?
well, things like writing standard operating procedures, SOPs, figuring out capacity, maybe restructuring departments, managing medical records, implementing the hospital information system, the HIS.
The digital nervous system of the hospital?
Yeah. Right. Plus manpower planning, making sure staffing is right, and legal and ethical compliance support.
It's a lot of moving parts.
And the physical stuff, too. Setting up modular OTs, installing medical gas pipelines, procuring the right equipment and furniture, all essential for delivering care safely.
It just highlights how many layers are needed behind the scenes for things to work smoothly for the patient.
Yes, definitely.
One source mentioned a kind of unique business model they use, taking equity as a fee.
Yeah, that was interesting. Taking equity instead of just a fee suggests a deeper partnership, doesn't it? Their success is tied directly to the hospital or venture's long-term success. It implies they're really invested.
A stronger alignment of interests. Okay, so we've got the standard setters like JCI and NABH, and the partners like Supreme Medic helping implement them. That's the system side. But all this exists for the patient. Let's shift gears now to the patient's reality.
Yes, this is such a crucial shift. Because even in the best hospital, with the highest accreditation, your personal recovery is a whole different journey. It's individual. It's often challenging.
The system sets the stage, but you have to do the healing.
Precisely. And several sources kept coming back to one key personal quality needed for this: patience.
Patience, which feels like the last thing you have when you're sick or recovering. You just want it to be over. Right?
Exactly. But the sources really stress why it's fundamental. Recovery is almost never fast or straightforward. It's a process.
A gradual one.
Yes. The healing process is gradual, was a phrase used. There are improvements, sure, but also setbacks, plateaus where things don't seem to change. Patience helps you navigate that reality.
And you often have to make big lifestyle changes too, right? Resting when you want to be active, eating differently.
Absolutely. That takes adjustment. And patience helps you shift your focus. Instead of aiming for perfection or being back to normal tomorrow, you focus on progress.
Like those micro wins the sources mentioned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Celebrating small things, getting out of bed for an hour longer, walking 10 extra steps, sleeping without interruption, tolerating a new food after surgery. Those are the wins in recovery.
And managing expectations must be huge for your mental state during all this.
Oh, definitely. Patience helps you cope with the stress, the frustration, the anxiety when things feel slow. It reduces burnout. It also means trusting the plan, trusting your doctors, and leaning on support. Mental health is so tied up in this.
There's a specific warning in the sources too, the "I'm fine now" trap.
Yes. That feeling when your main symptoms fade, maybe the pain lessens or the fever breaks, and you think, great, I'm better, back to life.
But you're not, really. Not internally.
That's the danger. The sources emphasize that internal healing takes much longer. Their examples were good. Post-heart attack rehab takes weeks, months, even if you feel okay sooner. Internal tissues after surgery are fragile long after the skin heals. Your energy and immunity after a bad infection like dengue, that recovery is slow.
And if you fall into that trap and push that soon?
You risk relapse, re-injury, complications. You could end up right back in the hospital, potentially worse off.
So, okay, patience is crucial. But how do you actually cultivate it? When everything in you is screaming to get back to normal, it sounds really hard.
It is hard. It's conscious effort. The sources had some practical advice. First, redefine progress. Actively look for and, celebrate those micro wins. Maybe even write them down.
Acknowledge the small steps.
Yes, and accept that healing isn't linear. That 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing. Expect it.
Right.
Some days you'll feel more tired. Some days old pains might flare up. Progress might stall. That's normal. Your body's busy with internal repairs. It's not always focused on making you feel energetic.
And stop comparing yourself to others or some imaginary timeline.
Absolute critical. The sources say compare yourself only to your past self. Am I doing a bit better than last week? Not, why isn't my recovery as fast as that person's on Instagram?
What are some subtle signs you might be overdoing it, maybe without realizing?
Things like skipping your rest days because you feel okay that morning. Or maybe, telling your physical therapist the exercise doesn't hurt when it actually does.
Downplaying things.
Yeah. Or wanting to leave rehab earlier than recommended. Those are signs you might be rushing.
Are there mental tricks or tools?
Yeah, a couple of useful ones came up. One is reframing boredom. When you're forced to rest and feel bored or useless, try to see it as active healing time. Your body's working hard even when you're still.
Okay, that's a helpful reframe.
Another is the 5-year test. If you're frustrated by a delay today, ask yourself, will this specific setback actually matter in 5 years? Usually the answer is no. It puts things in perspective.
Good perspective tool. What about practical routines?
The sources suggested things like a recovery calendar. Track small daily goals, maybe your energy level out of 10. It makes gradual improvement visible.
See the trend, even if it's slow.
Exactly. Also, maybe designate specific healing hours for rest or therapy, separate from any productive hours you might manage. And the 10% rule for activity, increase things like walking time by only 10% per week. Slow and steady.
Getting realistic timelines from your doctor seems key, too.
Vital. Ask them directly. What's a typical recovery curve? When might I expect to feel, say, 50% better? What are realistic milestones for the next month? It grounds your expectations.
And the role of family and friends.
Hugely important. And the sources had advice for them too. Like, don't push the person to get back to normal. Be understanding about fatigue, moods. Help with practical stuff, appointments, meds. Encourage rest and nutrition. Just be a calm presence.
That support makes a difference.
And some final reminders, really for everyone involved. Rest is recovery work. Pain during therapy isn't always bad, might be necessary. Emotional ups and downs are totally normal. And remember, healing happens internally even when you don't feel progress day to day.
Good reminder.
Because the risks of being impatient aren't just physical relapse. It's skipping follow-ups, stopping meds early, ignoring warning signs, maybe losing trust in the whole process.
Okay, let's just quickly tie this back together. We mentioned SupremeMedic helping hospitals with quality systems, but the sources also noted they provide patient-focused resources.
Yes, that was an interesting connection. They have things like a podcast, Lifelines, with episodes like Slow Your Roll, Avoiding Premature Recovery Habits, and blog posts on the art of patient recovery.
So what's the insight there? That a quality-focused organization also sees the patient journey after treatment as important.
I think so, yeah. It shows that thinking about quality care delivery extends to empowering you, the patient, through that often difficult recovery phase. It acknowledges that the system's success isn't just about the treatment itself, but also about your successful return to health afterwards.
Right. So this deep dive has really shown us these two kind of critical dimensions. You've got the external systems, JCI, NABH, the consultancies pushing for high standards in how care is delivered. And then you have the internal needs of the individual patients, self-compassion, realistic expectations, support, which are absolutely essential for actually recovering.
It's really clear, isn't it? The best systems provide the foundation, the quality care. But getting back to health fully, that really depends a lot on you, the patient, and your ability to navigate that journey with patients.
So here's something to think about, drawing it all together. How are the quality of healthcare delivery, which is what the organizations work on, and the quality of healthcare recovery, which is your personal journey, really two sides of the same coin? Both seem to need careful attention to process, following guidance, whether it's standards or doctor's orders, and focusing on the long game, not just how things look right now. What does understanding that connection mean for how you approach your own health and maybe how you view the whole healthcare system?